School District regular meeting, March 16th, 2023, to order. Ms. Allen, will you please call the roll?
Yes, Mr. Davis,
Yes.
Mrs. Cherry,
Yes.
and Ms. Moore.
Yes. The meeting has now been called to order. Please join us in a pledge of allegiance. Thank you. Mission statement is up next and is read by Trotwood-Madison Middle School student. And, what is his name? Yes.
Hello, my name is Jordan Laville, and I go to Trotwood-Madison City. No, not Trotwood-Madison Middle School. Here's the mission statement. The mission statement of Trotwood-Madison City Schools is to graduate all students prepared to excel in a global society with commitment to lifelong learning by guaranteeing a challenging curriculum facilitated by innovative and dedicated staff, community participation, and state-of-the-art resources, and a stimulating atmosphere. Thank you.
Thank you. That was excellent. Thank you. I now need a motion to adopt the agenda as presented.
I move.
I'll second.
It's been properly moved in second. Are there any changes?
Yes. There's an amendment to the board agenda. I would like to move the personnel agenda out of the consent agenda and add it as letter C. I would also like to add to the, when we go out for executive session, the personnel piece.
Okie dokie. So let me get that verbiage. That is, Ms. Allen, do you have that printed out? If not, I can look it up.
You said what? I don't have it right in front of me.
You don't? Okay, well, let me find it.
Okay. I can find it.
I don't know. Where is it? Okay, I have it.
Excuse me, can we make a clarification?
Yes.
That the personnel agenda be moved to
Seven, and it'll be the A.
7A, and not just separate it out
Right.
to include
7A.
another C. So it's 7A.
Yes.
Thank you. Madam Superintendent, on your other requests, you are asking under executive session to consider the appointment, employment, dismissal, discipline, promotion, demotion, or compensation of a public employee or official in the
Yes.
investigation of charges or complaints against a public employee, official, licensee, or regulated individual, correct?
Correct.
For BOE 0166 and OR 121.22. Okay, so we will add that as item B.
that would be 12B, right?
12B, absolutely.
All right, 12B, got it.
Are there any other changes? Okay, being none, Ms. Allen, will you please call the roll?
Yes, Mrs. Cherry,
Yes.
Mr. Davis,
Yes.
and Ms. Moore.
Yes, the agenda has now been adopted. Next up, Ms. Allen, do we have any community comments?
I do not.
Okay.
Unless someone in the audience has a phone.
Okay,
I do not.
thank you. So we have item 3, which are our presentations, which are limited to 10 minutes. The first presentation that we have is our Muse Machine presentation. Hi.
Thank you.
And I'll take the extra, and I'll make sure that our president gets one. Okay, thank you. All right. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having us today. Thank you for inviting Muse Machine into Trotwood-Madison schools this year. Our mission is to change young people's lives through the arts. And my name is Ruth Reveal. I'm the executive director at Muse Machine, and I'm here with my colleague Beth Wright. She is the preschool and elementary program manager and our full-time teaching artist. Trotwood-Madison schools have been active in Muse Machine since 2015. I want to thank Ms. Bruno for bringing Muse to Trotwood. And I wanted to share a little bit about how Muse's programming is organized. And I brought some handouts for the board to show the impact of to Trotwood-Madison schools right now, and some brochures that give a more general overview of our programming this school year. So I'll start at the level of the middle and high schools. The programming focuses on bringing a diverse range of performances into schools, offering discounted tickets to students to attend local arts performances, and other opportunities for students like workshops with artists, road trips, and the chance to audition for Muse's annual student musical. Our arts partners this year are Dayton Contemporary Dance Company, Cincinnati Shakespeare Company, Dayton Opera, a Latin music trio, and Alex Simon, a percussionist and motivational speaker. And next year we'll have some of the same artists returning with the addition of a guitarist who composes music on the spot with students named Michael Kelsey, and an Appalachian folk duo, Brother Hill and Benya Stewart. So as we go down to the elementary grades, the programming involves a professional artist like Beth, who partners with a classroom teacher and students to create an original piece of art. They use the tools of the art form, so in Beth's case that's dance, to explain new knowledge and curricular concepts through a performance or work of visual art. And we have teaching artists who span all different art forms: theater, spoken word, visual art, music, dance, and we find that students and teachers are really inspired in a classroom where they can be creative and learn in different ways. So our artists have been incredibly fortunate this year to work with the amazing teachers and students at all grade levels at the Early Learning Center, Madison Park, and Westbrook Village. And I asked Beth to tell you a little bit more about the process of what activating curriculum through the arts looks like, and what her work has looked like at the elementary schools.
Hi. I'm going to give you a brief synopsis of what a residency looks like. So it's a 5-day residency, and the first day I introduce my art form to the to the students. But before the actual residency begins, I meet with the teachers and we come up with curriculum that they would like to make sure that the students learn. And I then ask them for all the information that they have that I can take home so I can prepare for the residency. And so then on that first day, I introduce just my art form, and a lot of times students are familiar with dance and they show me what they know, and I love to encourage them to show me what they know. And then we work on some tools for choreography. And on the second, third, and fourth day, the teacher and I work very closely together to bring out what they want the students to learn in the curriculum, and then I help them to put that into movement. And so today, we had a performance at Madison Park, and a lot of people were able to come and see. We did Force in Motion, and that was wonderful. So that's the 5th day, ends in a culmination. just to let you know kind of some of the topics that we covered, in the ELC, the pre-K retold a story through movement, the Mitten. First grade is currently working on comparing and contrasting, and so their performance will be on March 24th. Madison Park culminated today, the second grade, with Force of Motion. Third grade, I will work in May. They should culminate on the 12th. Westbrook Village, the fourth grade, we did Black History, and I work with another group of fourth grade in May. And the fifth grade was my first residency in Trotwood, and we worked on the Columbian Exchange and Spanish explorers. And I just wanted to give you just a quick synopsis of what that was like. Mr. Collins was awesome to work with, and so was Mr. Taylor. We were able to really collaborate really well, get the kids to bring their movement out into life, into choreography. And Mr. Collins told me that I helped to inspire him to be more creative in the classroom, so we possibly do some movements, which is awesome. And Mr. Taylor and I had the opportunity to have the kids work on a pre-test, and they did really well. I saw them doing their dance moves while they were trying to do their pre-test, and apparently they did really well on their chapter test. So I would like to thank you for valuing the arts in education and knowing how that can help the students to learn in unique ways. Thank you.
So that the elementary and the secondary programs are big pillars of Muse's programming. And then the other piece of it is our professional development for teachers. So because Trotwood-Madison teachers participate in Muse programming, you all have the opportunity to attend our free 4-day summer institute. That takes place in July every summer, and we bring artists from all over the country to work with teachers on how to use the arts in their classroom. In the past few years, we've invited the Jazz Power Institute, Sweet Honey in the Rock, Ping Chong and Company, the Metropolitan Opera Guild, Opera Creole, and this year we're working with Tectonic Theater Project. So teachers can earn 28 seat hours. They can also sign up for graduate credits, and that is a really impactful way for teachers to meet each other and to be creators themselves and to see how they can use the arts in their classrooms to activate curriculum. And then another professional development opportunity that schools can earn through their participation in Muse programming is called our Advanced Teacher Training Seminar, ATTS. And this July, the choir teacher at the high school, Jelani Stokes, is going on this trip. This is about 20 teachers we take to New York City at no cost to the teachers or the district for a whirlwind 6-day trip that has 6 performances, 4 museum visits, 4 workshops with world-renowned producers, directors, artists, designers, costumers, and more. So that's going to be really exciting for Mr. Stokes to get to go on that trip with us, and we're happy, so happy for the dedication of the Trotwood-Madison advisors at the middle and high school level who get students to be excited about a really diverse range of arts. So thank you so much for supporting this, for showing the dedication you have to giving students access to many different modalities of learning. And we really hope that we can continue to partner for many years to come. So thank you for having us today.
Thank you. Are there, one second, Ms. Yeah. Are there any questions?
Yes. Do you all like teach like creative hip hop dance?
I'm sorry?
Do you teach
Creative.
creative hip hop dance?
I have to say, no, I don't, but I do know how to get sturdy now, thanks to Westbrook Village. I learned, and I had to do it so that they would buy into what I was doing, and it's pretty, I think I did pretty good.
Okay, great. Any other questions?
Would you guys be willing to expand that program outside of Madison Park and make it more like maybe viral, and also like maybe Zoom classes for those that are in the other schools that can't participate at those moments? would there be any opportunity for expansion of the program within our district if it was to reverberate for the, for the futures to come or years to come or,
Yeah.
this future period?
Yeah, different ways to access the residency, to participate in it. Yeah, yeah.
Appreciate
Yeah,
that.
during the pandemic, obviously, we had to shift
Mhm.
what we were doing. So Beth created a lot of videos that teachers were using for warm-ups, but also like story literacy-based videos. And so we're no stranger to virtual access of programming, and we really find it's important for families especially to be able to reach programs.
What is the youngest you're willing to start this program? Is pre-K pretty much where we stabilize it at? Okay. I have a child in the ELC, and this is something, he's a singer, so,
Oh, yeah,
yeah, can't wait to get him there with you.
yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. We appreciate the partnership. Thank you for what you do. Thank you for growing and expanding the Muse Machine project in Trotwood, and we look forward to many years of working together.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for having us.
Yes. Very good presentation. Thank you. Next up, we have a presentation on the Virtual Academy update.
All right, thanks. I appreciate the opportunity just to share with you all again on what's been going on. We've made some really good strides. Again, I'm with Future Ed Solutions. My name is Jeff Nelson. I'm one of the co-founders. I have Ed Kitchen with me today, and he's the success manager here with the Trotwood program. And we're just really happy to be able to work with Dr. Cosby and the team she's put together here. Just as a reminder, we're an Ohio-based company made up entirely of Ohio educators, so we're very proud of that. So, Ed?
Yeah, again, thanks for letting us share our successes down here. Just really wanted to start off with, last year we had it wasn't a banquet, it was kind of a celebration of last year's stuff. So just want to give a quick update. We've serviced over 300 students over the last couple years. Our current year, I think we have serviced over 145. I believe we have 108, it might be 106 as of this morning, currently enrolled. A breakdown, K through 5, 6 through 8, 9 through 12. So it's pretty diverse. And we also have some special ed students in the program as well. I do want to look at our dashboard that we kind of look at daily in terms of, as a former math teacher who just retired a couple years ago, it's kind of unique to look back at this, where we have serviced 145 students. We have a lot of different teachers. Our sections are like classes, and they're A's and B's, so you may look at it and wonder, really we have over 100 and some classes that we're teaching. Section-wise, it's over 1,200 different types of sections, 242 unique sections, and we'll talk about that in a minute. And then the total hours that we've spent just through March is over 200,000. So obviously as a classroom teacher, that's what we want, and that's what we're able to do, again, with partnering with Trotwood. Again, we've have over 30 teachers teaching and partnering with the Trotwood. We've taught over 19 different math sections, ranging from kindergarten all the way up to algebra, geometry, algebra 2. We've had 21 different science, history, language arts, foreign languages, and even 13 health and PE with a combination of 7 electives. So quite a few different, teachers with that. When you look at that in terms of, again, as a math teacher, 19 different math classes, 21 science. So again, just gives you a brief overview of currently what we've been doing.
So started to work a little bit this year also with Dr. Cosby and her team, just taking a look at the breakdown of the district spend in the program, and then certainly the district spend per student. So as you can see, right now the average district spend inside the district is a little over $7,300 per student. The maximum spend per pupil in Ram Nation is, as you can see, a little over 2,700. And I say maximum because that's if a student is in for the entire year. Typically what we see with a lot of the students is they tend to be a little more transient. So this is absolutely the most if they were here all year. That's typically not the case. So, and I'll forward along some numbers to kind of let you know the average days we see students spend. So really it's probably, I mean, I would guess right around the 1,700 and 1,800 mark. That is the district spend per student in Ram Nation. And of course, that just includes us. It doesn't include the members of Dr. Cosby's team that she's assembled there. But and then looking at the state share that Trotwood gets per student, a little over 5,600. With 145 students in the program, the state share comes to, you know, a little over $818,000 that the district's being able to save. And I say save because what we found with other districts is a lot of times these students leave the district and leave and go find somewhere else. Now, that's not to say all the students would do that if it weren't for Ram Nation, but we do know that a good bit of them would. So.
Yeah, I think we really wanted to emphasize our partnership really equals success here. You know, when I come here once a month or more and talk with Dr. Cosby and her team, and that's what we do. I mean, as an educator, that's what we want. And that's really our tagline is we want to help every student in what they do, and we want to serve every child. And that's why we partner, you know, with Ram Nation and the Trotwood kids, and it's worked out. There's many success stories that has come out of this that I could stand here for a couple hours and probably tell you. And it's really because of the partnership that we have come up with and Dr. Cosby and her team.
So we started looking at things at the end of last spring and last summer, and some of the things that we wanted to take a look at. I know I've shared some of these numbers with you in the past. We know that when we first came in, we saw that Trotwood was losing a little over $5 million worth of students that were going to local charter schools. And so we know we wanted to target that. We certainly wanted to get a good foundation of the program. We feel like we've done that this year. Things have really settled with Dr. Cosby's team and as they've built a really good foundation. So we would like to get pretty aggressive with that in the spring and heading into summer. Looking at right now, we know that there are over $500 worth of students who have left Trotwood and are going to the state virtual schools. And we think that's a perfect group to market to, because it's the exact same thing that we're doing right here in Trotwood with Ram Nation. So we feel like that would be the first group that we'd like to market to and hopefully create, you know, a more opportunity for students. What we look at, and like Ed said, you know, our mission is to help you serve every child. And we know that students go to school online for a number of different reasons. And I'll be very honest, some good, some bad. But we know that they do, and they have that choice to do that. So by having Ram Nation, we really would like to try to go out there and aggressively go after those students and get them to come back and take a look at Ram Nation and come home to Trotwood with the biggest goal of eventually, hopefully, getting them back into the classroom. So, any questions?
Board?
Yes, how much parent participation do you have?
You know, I know that our mentor here, she meets with the kids once or twice a week. There's a parent organization that she has with a newsletter. I know she talks a lot with them on the phone, email, orientation, you know, that sort of thing within the program itself.
What have you guys started to think about the ideas of if these 500 students that are kind of floating around out there that we want back? I would love any ABC ideas that might, you know, we could throw at us. I would love to hear them or relate them to the superintendent if
Sure.
we need some time to get logistics. That is
Yeah.
a lot of students that, and if you add the monies involved in that, you know.
Yeah, I mean, always when we've set this program up at a number of other schools around the state over the past 9 years and 10 years, and that really is the goal, is to allow the program to more than fund itself. We call it our homecoming program. We have a marketing program we've done with other schools, and we say basically come home to the district, come back, be a Ram, come back and get your diploma here in Trotwood. And so we have a number of different tools like that we do, but what I find that has worked best is really just a personal touch to it. I mean, I don't think you can just send postcards and letters. I think you have to make the phone call and make these families feel for whatever reason they left, make them feel like you really want them back. And so I think that what we've seen when we've worked with other districts is that's what works best, is just getting on the phone. And that's what's nice, I think, about the team assembled here, is they have strong Trotwood ties, and they know a lot of these parents, and they're able to make these phone calls and say, look, we have the same program here that you're currently doing. Come back, be a Ram, and again, it's part of the homecoming campaign.
Thank you.
Graduation rates for the virtual academy.
I mean, I think last year, I want to say, without, looking up the numbers, there wasn't too many, we didn't have too many seniors, but I believe they all graduated. I don't have that in front of me, but I'm pretty sure I know for a fact in our celebration, there were 2 kids I can see here. That's the first time they got straight A's, and they were able to graduate. I don't want to say their 2 names, but, in terms of getting through it, we only had, I want to say 4 seniors, but don't quote me on that.
Okay. Can you get us the data?
Yeah, I can get
us
you
the numbers?
data. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. So this year, how many seniors are we serving?
I think we're at 4.
We're at 4
I think we
this
are.
year
Yeah.
as well?
And I have all that data.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you could send that to the superintendent and Dr. Cosby, we'll
Sure.
get it to the board.
Yep.
Any other questions?
Where do you see this going in fiscal year 2024? Do you think we're going to double probably? It looks like there's a possibility for increase dramatically and aggressively. So what I'm thinking is we would love to have more communication with you guys quarterly. It depends what.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, yeah, we would like more follow-up about the program and
Sure.
how we're doing and what ideas you have for the program to grow it, like Mr. Davis shared.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's where my role comes in as the success manager, where I'm down here.
Yeah.
I mean, I walk in here and it's just very welcoming. I know everybody.
Mhm.
It's whatever reports you need, however we can help you. That's the partnership. So I would be more than happy. We could come down here at quarterly,
Okay.
monthly, whatever you would need.
Well,
And
maybe we'll do a quarterly
yeah,
update, all
sure.
right? So,
Yeah.
Ms. Allen, we'll put that on the agenda for a quarterly update.
And
Yeah.
that would be easy to accomplish because we do meet frequently.
Okay, wonderful.
And just as an aside, I know it does look like there's the opportunity for this to grow, but the ultimate goal of this is to keep the kids connected to the district and have them get back into the classroom.
Okay.
And that is the ultimate goal, is not to see how many kids we can have online. We know that coming out of COVID, there were a lot of concerns, and this is the reason we initially, started the partnership here, to keep them connected to the district. But the ultimate goal is we want to transition them back into the buildings.
Transition.
So,
Okay.
Thank you.
yeah.
Given that, how many have we transitioned back into the building?
I don't know. We can certainly get that number. I know we do have kids go back and forth.
Last year there was quite a bit.
Okay. We'll get the data.
Yeah,
And
sure.
that way the
Yeah.
board will be able to
Yeah.
review it. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Great presentation. We
Thank you very
appreciate
much for
it.
having me.
Next up is item 4, and this is under our board report. And this, item A is recognition of a board member resignation. So I am going to need a motion to accept the resignation of Mr. Michael Andrews.
I second.
It's been properly moved and second. Are there any questions? Being none, Ms. Allen, will you please call the roll?
Ms. Cherry,
Yes.
Mr. Davis,
Yes.
and Ms. Moore.
Yes. Motion passes. Next item is item 5, consent agenda. And our consent agenda is pretty simple. We have item A, approval of the minutes from February 2nd, 2023, February 9th, 2023, and February 16th, 2023. And item B is donations acceptance. We've had for athletics for the middle school cheer program, $200 from different ministries in Christ. $100 from Rosemary Peters Brain, $250 from Mr. Michael L. Wright, Inc., $500 from the VFW, Ohio Charities, $50 from the American Legion, 776. Madison Park, we have for American Deposit to Principals Fund is $50.60 from Casey's Journal Store, Cash for Classrooms Awards. And for the middle school, we have a Deposit for Principals Fund for $286.82 for Shutterfly commissions, two $400 donations from NCES School Pulse Panel Survey. So I need a motion to accept the consent agenda as presented.
I'll move.
I second.
It's been properly moved in second. Any questions? I'm gonna make a comment. We're going through this regular meeting consent agenda and this particular meeting as a second meeting. As we are voting on these items, we've seen these items 2 weeks ago. We've dissected these items. We've asked questions on these items. So the board has had an opportunity not only to get its questions answered, but now be able to approve these items. Given that, Ms. Allen, will you please call the roll?
Yes. Mrs. Cherry?
Yes.
Mr. Davis?
Yes.
And Ms. Moore?
Yes. Consent agenda has passed. Next item, this was an additional item that we added. And you know what? I'm gonna tell you something. I think it should have been item six, but since we said it was gonna be 7A, we're gonna leave it at 7A, if that is the pleasure of the board. Is that okay?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, great. So, we're gonna move on down to item 6, which is the treasurer's report. Ms. Allen?
Okay, I do have several items for you this evening. The first item is the amounts and rates that the county wants Board of Education to approve. And so in front of you, you have a blue sheet. And what I wanted to just show you is what has been collected and what has been projected for the last 5 years. And so I had the amount collected in FY '20, FY '21, and FY '22, and what has been projected for FY '23, and what in front of you, the county wants you guys to approve as the rates this year. And so I wanted to bring to your attention that it's two sides. One shows you all of the different millages or tax levies that we have under general fund, and then we have special levies that include the permanent improvement, classroom facilities, and our bond levy. And on the second part of that, it just kind of summarizes that for each of those areas. I wanted to let you know that under the permanent improvement levy, we have two different levies, and one we use to fund some of our technology, and the second one, we are still using that money to pay off the loans that enabled the district to build the natatorium, auditoriums, and renovate the central office. And so, again, the county just wants me to send in a resolution that you guys approve this, their projected amounts, their amounts and rates for the particular levies that we have. And so I'm asking this evening for action to be taken on that item.
I need a motion to accept Treasurer's Item 6A as presented.
I move.
I'll second.
Been properly moved in second. Are there any questions? Being none, Ms. Allen, will you please call the roll?
Yes, Mr. Davis?
Yes.
Mrs. Cherry?
Yes.
And Ms. Moore?
Yes, motion passes.
second item I have is the financial report. So we did have a finance, meeting this evening. Okay, so let me bring those up. The first one is the bank reconciliation report, and that indicates the bank statement balances that we have in PNC, the investment balances that we have, and then the outstanding checks and adjustments. And if we total those outstanding checks and adjustments, add those to the total bank and investment cash balances of $31,825,977.89. We have an adjusted bank balance of $30,948,282.08. And then the district balance per meta equals that exactly. And therefore, we have a variance bank to book of 0, and that's what you always strive for. The second report that I have is checks over 1,000. Again, we had a finance committee this evening. Ms. Cherry and Mr. Davis are part of the finance committee. Our superintendent, Dr. Cosby, attended that meeting as well. We did review all of the checks that were cut in February, and there were questions that we were able to answer, but there were some additional questions. So one of the questions was about Catherine Swywart McKnight, and Dr. Cosby answered what services that she provided the district. And then there was a question on Muse Machine, and then there were a question on, we had 2 employees that were reimbursed their tuition. There were 3 checks that I did pull. One was to the city of Trotwood in the amount of $17,967.05. That was for water and sewer. And so we do pay the city of Trotwood for that service, that utility services they provide. And then there were 2 checks that were cut to Coca-Cola, one in the amount of $1,371.89, and the other in the amount of $1,027.96. Both of those checks were cut because of the concessions that were held by JRTC at the high school. So those are the 3 checks that the board members asked me to pull.
Okay.
I didn't know if there was anything else that anyone else had any questions on. And then the last report is our spending plan summary, and that spending plan summary includes the month of February and then the fiscal year to date from July through February 2023. On the left side, it indicates all of our revenue and all of our expenditures, and at the bottom, it indicates that we had excess revenue, or actually excess expenditures over revenue month to date, but fiscal year to date, we had a $2.8 million revenue over our expenditures, and we always want to see that positive black, because we want to have our revenue more than our expenses. And so, right now, knock on wood, fiscal year to date, everything looks wonderful. So, that is the end of the 3 reports that I wanted to present to you this evening. I ask for action, please.
Okay. I need a motion to accept Treasurer's Report, Item B, Financial Reports for February 2023, and Item C, Approval of the Amended Appropriations.
I'll move.
I'll second.
It's been properly moved in second. Any questions? I did have a question on the checks over 1,000. And I know you answered this for the Finance Committee, but I'm curious as far as the services for, was it Karen Swiger or? Catherine.
McKnight. Yes, she is, we've talked about her before in our meeting, and she is a nationally known educator. She has come to our district and she's offered PD for our staff, as to help them become, you know, as best they can at their craft. And that's what we do, you know, we try to help everyone grow, and that's what she's done. She has spent days in the district actually co-teaching with their teachers. She's offering productive feedback. It's been a very good experience having her here. And, you know, of course, everything takes time, and we work and we improve as we go and learn. But I am anticipating that we will see some growth of our students for having her with us.
Okay, well, thank you. There are no other questions. Ms. Allen, will you please call the roll?
Mrs. Cherry?
Yes.
Mr. Davis?
Yes.
And Ms. Moore?
Yes. Motion B and C pass. Under Treasurer's Report,
And then the last item that I have is approval of the amended appropriations. And in front of you, you have a white piece of paper that indicates the 4 changes that we changed from the last time from February 16th. Food service from February 16th, we increased that by $2.5 million. And the reason why we did that was due to transfers to clean up past account codes. So what we did is collapsed all the codes, and so we had to increase the appropriation for that. Principal's fund is 018. We increased that by 40 to 50,000, and that difference was 10,000, and that was due just to increased expenditures. Student managed funds, Fund 200, in February was 15,000. We increased that by 10,000 to 25,000. Again, increased expenditures. And then the miscellaneous state grant fund, that is a new $5,530.81. And I put increased expenditures, but we had an expenditure for that particular state grant fund. And I ask for your approval for those changes.
gonna need a motion for Treasurer's Item 6C.
I move.
Second.
It's been properly moved in second. Any questions? Being none, Ms. Allen, will you please call the roll?
Yes, Mr. Davis,
Yes.
Mrs. Cherry,
Yes.
and Ms. Moore.
Yes, motion passes.
And that's all I have this evening.
Thank you. Next up are the superintendent's report. Dr. Cosby?
Okay, first I would like to take the opportunity to welcome our wonderful staff here tonight. I know after a long day of work, it's a lot to come out, so I know that you are, you know, interested, dedicated in what it is that's brought you here. So just wanted to say, you know, welcome. What I'm going to bring up is our personnel agenda. Okay, so I'm asking for action tonight on the following items on this agenda. A1 is a recommendation for the approval of the following certified retirements for the 22-23 school year. A2 is a recommendation for the approval of the following certified letters training for the 22-23 school year. A2 is recommendation for the approval of the following certified letters training that continues on. And then A3 is a recommendation for the approval of the following certified supplementals for the 22-23 school year. A4 is a recommendation for the approval of the following increase in pay due to verification of service adjustments and training. A5 is a recommendation for the approval of the following certified after-school tutors for the 22-23 school year. And now we have our classified agenda. B1, a recommendation for the approval of the following classified resignations for the 22-23 school year. B2 is a recommendation for the approval of the following classified new hires for the 22-23 school year. B3 is a recommendation for the approval of the following classified new hires to be used on an as-needed basis for the 22-23 school year. B4 is a recommendation for the approval of the following classified letters training for the 22-23 school year. B5 is a recommendation for the approval of the following classified supplementals for the 22-23 school year. That's all I have. I would like action.
Thank you. I need a motion to accept Superintendent A item personnel agenda.
I move.
I'll second.
It's been properly moved in second. Any questions? I have a comment. Very nicely done on the personnel agenda. Really appreciate the items and how they're listed. And I appreciate how we have structured this particular item under superintendent. So thank you.
Thank you.
Ms. Allen, will you please call the roll?
I certainly will. Mr. Davis,
Yes.
Mrs. Cherry,
Yes.
and Ms. Moore.
Yes. Motion passes. The personnel agenda has been approved. Next item up, item 8, is discussion and follow-up items and updates. And tonight, we only have one, and it's negotiations update. And I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Cosby.
Okay, for our negotiations update, we will be having negotiations tomorrow. I am very optimistic, as you know I've been saying, and I sincerely am, that we will hopefully come to a culmination of this long-time negotiation. I do believe, and I know that our members of the union also believe that that's what's best for our students and our staff. So at this point, we're looking forward to tomorrow, and hopefully we'll be bringing something out where we come to agreement.
Okay. Thank you. Next up, treasurer's comments.
I just want to ditto Dr. Cosby's comments. I'm looking forward to tomorrow. I'm looking forward, hopefully, for us to come to a common decision on the negotiations. So I'm really excited about it.
Okay.
That's all.
Thank you, Ms. Allen. Okay. Dr. Cosby, do you have any other comments?
Yeah, I have just a couple of things I want to comment on. First, if you'll remember at our last board meeting, we did talk about one of our middle school students who received an award on the poems. You remember the city of Trotwood did that competition. Well, also there was a winner in the high school, Mary Eli Holden, and she got first place. So I wanted
that's
to acknowledge
awesome.
that. That was very nice. And I'm just going to say that the HBCU Career and College Fair was really great, well-attended. I'm guessing Ms. Cherry may want to speak a little bit more about it, so I'm not going to steal her thunder, but I did want to say that I was in attendance, and it was very nice. And then finally, I did go to the Muse Machine activity over at Madison Park today, called Force of Motion, and it was really, really cool to see that great amount of students stand up and be able to move together and, you know, get the idea of what gravity is and to show it in their physical movements. It was really engaging and exciting, and I'm thinking that they're going to continue, you know, doing those things because, above all, it was a lot of fun. And that's all I have.
Thank you. Board comments. Mr. Davis.
Well, greetings, everyone. And just a fun fact. Trotwood-Madison, out of all 50 states, the only city that I've ever looked up, and there's no other one like it in all 50 states, no matter where you look. I thought that was so interesting because I think it states something about us. There's no one else like us then. I guess elaborating any further into that, there's no one like our city, there's no one like our educators, there's no one like our school board, there's no one like, period, our treasurer, or anything like that. And when you come to Trotwood-Madison, sometimes things don't look pretty. Sometimes we might have disagreements within our own peer group, some of our generational gaps, sometimes we don't get along. But one thing I want you to know is that those 20,000 people here and those 2,667 children that I come to serve every day here, I got voted in here to do a job. And I swore into this Constitution that I would do that job. So if you ever see division in this district, know that it was only briefly, and it was just a moment in time. So please, please have patience with all of us. And know that there's one more thing I want you guys to think about. We had the Muse Machine come in here today. We had Future Ed Selections come in here today. And we also have the privilege of having educators in here along with media. And I just want to thank all you guys organically for being here. There's a program that I've seen. It's called Fearless, and it has this guy named Jason Whitlock on it. And he always encourages the parents of the children, no matter where they're at, to be involved in their daily procedures and routines. And I'm noticing that I probably should call a call to arms and start targeting more communication within our district, our parents. I really don't see a lot of action from our parents at all. I see a lot of educators. I see a lot of staff. I see a lot of even law enforcement. We have a strong law enforcement presence in our city, which is, over 90% rating, might I add. So we got that going on too. But the problem I'm having here is I need to, as a school board member, figure out a way to activate our parents, the guardians of the children. So I will take that charge coming this year. You will see more of me being in the community with those parents, pulling them out those homes. If they're not coming out the homes, we're going to see why from now on. I'm not speaking for the whole board on this because I'm only one voice, but with their help, we will get this done. So I want you guys to know that when we get done talking, because I'm learning this job and I have to be careful how I talk about things that are still active. So this week, when we get done with this week, and you guys know that we have a lot to talk about, and I love to talk, as you guys can tell, because my minutes are almost up. But what I will say is after this week, I really hope you guys see that the confusion that you guys seen the last year in reference to all these things that I leave off the record, they will be fixed soon. And peace will be still in that. I digress, Madam President.
Previous president.
Pro temp, Madam
Thank you.
President. Forgive me.
I appreciate that. Ms. Cherry?
Yes, Dr. Cosby was right. I did have the opportunity to attend the HBCU event, and I just love the energy from the students, the representatives, some of the parents and staff. I thought it was a well-attended event, and I look forward to more events like that. So I want to just applaud that event. I have a couple of questions, because I know that our, I wrote some of them down. Governor DeWine has endorsed the science of reading, and I wanted to know, where are we in reference to the third grade guarantee? Are the students prepared to pass the third grade guarantee? And what are we going to do in the event that they don't? And for the summer possible backsliding, where are we going with the third grade guarantee?
So, everything that we've been talking about, our strategic plan for literacy, all the things that we've been working on, the letters, bringing in Dr. McKnight and Dr. Cash, all of those things that we've been doing is in preparation for our students to read by third grade, so that they can, do better on the third grade reading guarantee. Of course, I can't make promises about what will happen, but I will assure you that that is what our focus is on. So we're getting more minutes in reading and literature. We are, the science of reading is what we're doing, and that's the letters training is a piece of all of this. We're actually ahead of what Governor DeWine is asking. So, a lot of school districts may have to change their curriculum, may have to do things differently. We're pretty confident that we are already doing what he's going to ask us to do. So we're ahead of the game. Now, we all know, the students came back from COVID and they're struggling. And so we're working with that. We're also looking at some ways to impact their SEL, their social emotional issues that are going on. As you know, we have a lot of things in place already, and we're continuing to look at that piece because that truly impacts their ability to, you know, learn and to do, they have to come to school ready, they have to be resilient, they have to hang in there, but that's what we've been working towards.
I have no other questions.
Okay, thank you. My only comment is I want to say, welcome, to our staff. And what's really interesting is it feels good to see people engaged. And what would feel even better is if we could see people engaged at all levels of what we do as a governance body. We have some amazing things going on here in Trotwood. We have amazing students, like Dr. Cosby shared, that win top awards. I would like to see our staff come in for that as well. Not just issues or concerns, but real caring and being supportive in that role with students and the things that are going on in the district. Not just staff, but parents. You know, because the business of the district, it impacts you. It impacts every single one of us. And we have a lot of good business going on. Also, I want to share that the college fair, I've heard nothing but rave reviews of how well that went. Not just for our students, but for our community. And that's a win. Given that, I'm going to be brief, so I am going to move on to an executive session tab, 12. I'm going to need a motion. And Ms. Allen, were you able to pull up B before I go on? Because I'm going to have to go back and forth if you didn't.
I was not.
Not a problem. No worries. I need a motion to enter into executive session to prepare for conduct or review negotiations or bargaining sessions with public employees concerning their compensation or other terms and conditions of their employment per ORC 121.22, no G4, no action will be taken. And also item B, which is, just give me a minute, and I will pull that up as well. To consider the appointment, dismissal, promotion, demotion, or compensation of a public employee or official, or the investigation of charges or complaints against a public employee, official, licensee, or regulated individual per BOE Policy 0166 and ORC 121.22 G1. Need a motion?
I move.
I'll second.
It's been properly moved in second. Question, will there be action taken on either one of these?
I don't believe so.
Information only?
Yes.
Thank you. No action will be taken. Ms. Allen, will you please call the roll?
Yes, Mr. Davis?
Yes.
Mrs. Cherry?
Yes.
And Ms. Moore?
Yes, we will now enter into executive session. It is 6:28. No action will be taken. And we will come back and adjourn. Thank you. 7:05 PM. Are we good? I now need a motion to adjourn.
I move.
I'll second.
Been properly moved and second. Any questions? Being none, Ms. Allen, will you please call the roll?
Mr. Davis?
Yes.
Mrs. Cherry?
Yes.
And Ms. Moore?
Yes. Motion passes. Meeting adjourned. All righty.
Thank you.
You guys have.